want to.
Amen.
That's. I want to share something really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Robert, take over.
Here you go. God bless you.
It's kind of funny where technically we're still in Christmas. Now, I'm not condoning December 25th, right? But Joseph was making remarks, came up a few times about circumcision, right? So what happened this past week is, all right, when is a Israelite, a Hebrew child, circumcised?
8th day.
Eighth day.
So I'm not saying this is correct, but if it was, then January 1st, a new year, would be his circumcision, right?
The 8th day.
That's the 8th day. And that's the day. It's kind of interesting. Look at the Catholic Church, and I think especially with Mariolatry, right? You have this goddess worship of the Virgin Mary.
I think you're right in making that correlation, but I think you have it backwards in how they did it. Because remember the winter solstice
Right.
is usually somewhere around closer usually to the 23rd rather than 25th.
Right.
Why did they make it the 25th? Because that was I believe, a Catholic thing where they were trying to tie in the very thing that you're saying. And they started with the new year because they already had the year calendar. And so they started with the new year and tried to claim, well, he was born on the winter solstice. We start the new year, you count backwards eight days. See, that was his birthday. And
Right.
and that's why the 25th is where it is. That's why it's 25th instead of 23rd.
Right. I'm not saying 25th is right.
Right, no,
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying,
look at.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying
look
that
at-
correlation was established backwards from that. They established from the first and counted backwards.
Possibly, but I'm just going to look at the
There's
Feast of
8 days
Circumcision.
between the 25th.
Right, that's
and
the point.
1st.
But we're actually, you hear the song on the first day of Christmas, you go to 12 days of Christmas, right? So today's actually the 12th day of Christmas. And tomorrow's what? It's Epiphany. What does that mean? In Spanish, they call it, how do you say it? Dia de los Reyes Magos? What does that mean?
The
Three Kings.
The day of the three magic kings.
Magi.
The Magi, right? So when we celebrate Christmas, they conflate things, right?
Yes.
Read the account in Luke. Actually, we don't. And some people like Michael Rue make a big point of that. It doesn't say how many Magi there were. But what is a Magi anyway?
A wise man.
Some people translate this as astrologers. They were using a form of astrology. I can't believe.
Astronomy.
Well, this is astrology and astronomy. What is astronomy?
Study of the stars.
Study the stars.
What is astrology?
Worship of the stars.
Not worship necessarily. I guess it kind of is. It's the horoscope, right? And I think that actually, the Bible does mention in a few places the constellations. I think Orion's mentioned, other places. If you watch the movie, I thought it was a pretty decent movie. It's the Nativity Story. Had Oscar Isaacs in it, and you have some people have done it. People looked at star maps because NASA has throughout history they can recreate what the starry sky looked like every night throughout all of going back tens of thousands of years, all of recorded history.
Mm-hmm.
So some scholars it's like, well, what would the sky have looked like? They try to figure out. Now, it's possible that the Star of Bethlehem was a constellation, or maybe these different, when they talk about the lion and the virgin coming together, they have these different theories. But it seems like, I'm not denying that, but I think there's also a supernatural component, especially when it reappeared to the Magi, because somehow this manifested in a way it led them directly to, in a supernatural way, to the abode of Mary, Joseph, and baby Yeshua, right? So with Epiphany, what does the word Epiphany mean? It means,
Enlightened.
or an appearance, right? Or a revelation. That'd be probably a better way to be a revelation. Some people say, I've had an epiphany, right? Because you've seen a truth that seems so obscure.
Or manifestation also.
Yeah, manifestation. So the Catholic Church says that, I guess when they give the gifts, they're acknowledging, of course, the shepherds, that happened the night when Yeshua was born,
Yes.
right? The shepherds came.
Yes.
He was a newborn babe in the manger, wrapped up in swaddling clothes. Later, days later, it could have been weeks or months or even years later, the Magi came. Now, it doesn't say there's 3 wise men. It says there's 3 gifts, right?
Yeah.
So people assume there's 3 wise men, and the church has, what is it? Gaspar, Belshazzar. What's the other one? I forget. Does anybody know the traditional names of three wise men? Gaspar, Belshazzar. I forget the third one. Anyway, the Bible doesn't say that there were 3. They just say, well, there's 3 gifts. There must have been 3 gift givers. It's just an assumption. But we do know, and you see a manger scene. They're conflating things that happen at different times together, right? And that confuses some people that think the wise men were there and the shepherds there at the same time. So what's the point is, what I want to look at is, so what happens, it's kind of funny. This friend, I respect, she's messianic. This woman's really hardcore Torah observant. She's a friend of the congregation. She's a great singer. And what happened is a Syrian Christian posted something about these are the Aramaic Christians from Iraq and Iran.
Melchior.
Melchior, that's right. Gaspar, Melchior, and Belshazzar. So that's all tradition. I wonder how old that is. It's probably something that came 400, 500 years after that. Doesn't have any real historical veracity or credence, but it's just a legend that arose later. So an Assyrian Christian on Facebook, they posted a picture about the circumcision of Yeshua. And actually, I didn't really give it much thought. Oh yeah, Jesus was circumcised. We all know that. Obviously he was, right? But there's something that's very profound about the feast of the circumcision. And I think Jonathan's right. The Catholics just trying to work out to make the system work, right?
Right.
Let's pick a day and count backwards. That's probably what they did. But even though these dates are conjectural, not correct, but I think there's a spiritual truth and a profoundness to Jesus' Yeshua's circumcision. Why would it be profound? First off, Yeshua is presented in the temple, right? And what do we see with that? Yeshua, he's incarnate, right? They expose his little baby body, naked body, and this is a male child, this little baby boy, right? And he's manifested to all of Israel. Here's this boy we're presenting to the nation of Israel. So this is, sometimes the Gnostics would say Yeshua didn't have a tangible form, right? That's why Islam was borrowing from the heresies of Gnosticism. That's why Islam says that, Yeshua wasn't really crucified. He only seemed to be or appeared to be, because that's Docetism. But they took this baby. This isn't a ghost or an apparition. They held baby Yeshua in their hands. This is God, but this is God in human flesh. Right? He's truly man. You can see he's male. You can see his male genitalia. And what do? They circumcise him, and what happens? This is the first time the blood of the Lamb of God is shed, right? That's kind of profound. And what does this represent? Another thing they do, they pronounce his name over him. Who is this child? You have to give the child's lineage, this lineage, right? This child is the son of David.
Yes.
They stand up there and, okay, this is Joseph, the son of blah, blah, blah. His genealogy, this is a son of Abraham, a son of Isaac, a son of Jacob, a son of David. So his messianic lineage, they take this little baby, they present him to the temple, they recite his messianic lineage, right? They show this is a real child, right? Hold the little baby in your hand. It's a boy, and they circumcise him. His blood is shed, and it prefigures, he was exposed naked as a man on the cross, right? So this is prefiguring, in a sense, when he sheds his final blood at the end of his public ministry, because he's resurrected, right? So they don't just give his lineage, they give his name. But his name is significant, right? Because this wasn't just any name, this was a name given to him by God. His name is Yeshua. What does that mean in Hebrew? It means salvation. That's who and what he is. He is salvation, right? So that's important. And the whole point of all of this is what? He is going to be raised in obedience to Torah, right? That's why they circumcise him, because he is in covenant. And by going and circumcising him in the temple, they identify him as a Hebrew boy, as the son of David, giving his lineage, pronouncing the name given to him by God over him, which is his identity as the Messiah. They're also showing that they are beginning. Why are they circumcised? Because it's commanded in the Torah.
Leviticus 12.
The command. He is going to be raised. He's going to be raised in obedience to the Torah, right? So anyway, somebody, an Assyrian Christian, posted, this is the feast of the circumcision. And, even this is really bad, and it kind of grieves me, but these people from that part of the world, sometimes the Christians, you're living in a very anti-Semitic culture, and sometimes some Middle Eastern Christians, some of them reject that, but sometimes some Middle Eastern Christians are affected by that and have, hatred towards Israel. And there's actually some, who's it, Anis, I forget his name, but there's been Arab Christians who had to talk about how the Lord had to take that out of their heart, right? Arab Christians from the Holy Land doing that. But this Assyrian Christian sharing something about, so I shared that, and somebody just got incensed and enraged because of the December 25th. I'm not talking about the days. I'm saying that, we don't even think about it or reflect on it, but the feast of the circumcision is actually important. Not the date, but what's going on and all the dynamics of it, and it's something to think and reflect on. So this is really, it's like, oh, well, yeah, Jesus was circumcised, but it means a lot. And it says that he was raised, in favor with God and man in obedience according to the Torah, right? So circumcision's important as well.
Amen.
So I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, because we don't even know when he was born. I mean, September, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of Messianic people.
I truly believe we do know when he was born. He was born on the first day of Sukkot.
Right.
Right.
But it's definitely not December 25th.
Right, I'm not talking about the date, I'm talking about the
Right.
significance of
In the Gregorian calendar, it will
Right.
move between September and October.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not talking about the date, I'm talking about the
I
significance
understand
of
that.
circumcision.
I understand that.
But
And the circumcision would be the last.
it does say in the Gospel
Right,
of John, I'm
exactly.
going to let Robert come up. It does say in the Gospel of John that the Word became flesh and he did what? He tabernacled among us. And I think that
Psalm 114.
Robert likes to talk about figures of speech, and that's one that's used a lot in the Bible, tabernacle or flesh. So that's a symbol of the incarnation. So I'm sorry, Robert, come up and share.
Whatever you can in 25 to 30 minutes.
Well.